Hey everybody, this is Joseph Pasek and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to the On the Mat Wrestling Show and welcome to the Huge Pop Wrestling guys, Donnie Da Silva and soon to be Hall of Fame referee Corderas. Now EW, we're gonna go 16 hours. Never mind. All right, this Saturday 3 p.m. originally was supposed to be at 8 p.m. but WWE has a tendency to mix up AEW there. Okay. This is arguably their biggest pay-per-view of the year. We'll start off, Jimmy, Women's Casino Gauntlet match. There's probably another 50 ladies here. Give me one or two who could possibly win.
For me, there's only one. It seems to be set up for Chris Statlander. Plain and simple. I mean, like, yes, Megan Bayne is in this one. I don't know what other surprises they're going to... who's the spider lady again? I keep forgetting her name. Thekla?
Thekla.
Yeah.
Thekla, yeah.
But for me, it looks pretty much a setup for Chris Statlander as the next number one contender for the ladies.
Okay, Donnie?
I don't even know who's in this gimmick. I feel like they're just throwing everybody in here, and I feel like it's going to be one of these things where, because when you look at the AEW women's roster, I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be one of these things where they're going to throw in a bunch of women that aren't even under contract. Like, you know, I know Medusa Maselli, formerly Alundra Blaze, she was hinting online that she would like a spot in the Battle Royal at Evolution. If she doesn't get it, she might end up in this gimmick. Like, it's very likely that could happen. I think Jimmy's right. I think Chris Statlander is probably the way to go. If not her, flip a coin between Megan Bayne and that the one that's doing Victoria's gimmick, the poison spider lady Thelka, Tekla. Oh, whatever. I don't know. So it could be any one of those three. I don't know. It's hard to say when we don't know who's in the match.
All right, the men's casino gauntlet match. I'll start off with you, Donnie. And there's only one guy here, and you will know it better than anybody. I hear you watch his pickle.
Watch his pickle?
Yeah, he doesn't know what I'm talking about, Jimmy. Come on, his kosher pickle.
His kosher pickle, yeah.
He doesn't know what I'm talking about.
And that is, they made that a T-shirt.
Yeah,
I can't believe they made that a T-shirt.
I'm not on that train.
I've seen some ridiculous T-shirts in my day, but the fact that one's at their merch stand,
that's stupid.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, who you got in this one?
Give me the kosher pickle. Who's in this thing? Who's in this match for real?
MJF. What's his name? Briscoe.
Mark Briscoe, Mystico. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other guys that are going to be surprises that we've never heard of.
And the winner gets a title shot, right?
Yes.
Number one contender.
It's MJF.
It should be.
Yeah, it's MJF.
Maxwell Jacob Friedman. So there you go. All right.
As much as I'm entertained by Mark Briscoe, it's got to be MJF.
All right, so we got Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay versus the Young Bucks, the executive vice presidents, and they can't challenge for a title or anything like that. Of course, Jimmy's upset because they ruined the Young Bucks limousine. That was the showstopper of Dynamite. All right, Jimmy, what do you say here?
Okay, now I wasn't excited about Stone Cold Swerve Strickland wrecking the limousine. It did nothing for me. I just, it's going to sound like here goes Corderas again, the hater, the AEW hater. It's not that I hate them. It's just, I wish they would take a different approach to doing things. Look, you take a team like the Young Bucks, for example. Are we talking? We're talking the Young Bucks match versus
Swerve Strickland and
Swerve and okay. Why would the Young Bucks as EVPs and heels so generously want to give up that option in a match where they say, "Oh, if we lose, we won't be EVPs anymore"? Oh yeah, no problem. That sounds fine. Thank you very much. That makes zero sense. You should be fighting and trying to entice them to give that title up or make that stipulation, as opposed to just saying, oh yeah, we're cool with it. That makes no sense. And then you got the other side with Will Ospreay making the decision for the team that if we don't win, we won't challenge for the championship for 1 year. And it looked like Swerve was upset about it, but then all of a sudden they're best buds.
Yeah, it's so contrived. Like, and I get the idea of you want to have stakes, you want to have something like almost every single match on this pay-per-view has either a stipulation or some kind of manufactured stakes, right? And the stakes here with why on earth would two of your top stars risk not competing for a world title when that's the only thing they both apparently care about? Why would you risk that in a tag team match where you're not in charge of your own destiny? Your partner loses and now you're screwed? To do what? To set up Strickland versus Ospreay? Okay. And then what? Like, I don't know. Obviously this is set up for a Strickland Ospreay win. And it's not a terrible idea to remove the EVP gimmick from the Young Bucks, but is this the way to do it? By them looking like idiots?
All right, I don't know what else to say to that. So let's get to the next match. And this match, not a lot of people, they focused on Kyle Fletcher, but Adam Cole, they didn't focus, and he's, the champion there. So, Donnie, what do you say? Adam Cole, Kyle Fletcher, TNT Championship.
I subscribe wholeheartedly to the theory of you don't put the title on a guy who's not over. And if you are, then you're doing it with the hopes that he's going to get over. I think Kyle Fletcher, as good a worker as he is, and let's not get it twisted, he's good. I just don't see him ever getting over to the level of an Adam Cole. Ever. So I don't see any logic, any business decision to make this change.
The only thing I will say, Donnie, is I agree with what you're saying, but they have been pumping his tires for so long that he is potentially the next one.
Maybe.
They keep saying so. Whether he is or not remains to be seen. But that's the narrative that they're putting out there for their fans to gravitate towards. And maybe it's worth giving it a shot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes these things are an experiment to see how an audience reacts. And you know what?
Yeah.
If you give him a shot, you put the title on Kyle Fletcher because he is good.
He is.
He just needs some refining. That's all he needs is some refining.
I'm going to change my call. I'm going to say Kyle Fletcher does win because at least he looks the part. He's not emaciated like Adam Cole. So I think that
okay.
I think he will. And you know what? He does have Don Callis and he does have all of that beef behind him. Yeah, I guess the deck is stacked in his favor.
All right, next match, tag team titles, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, Kevin Knight, Mike Bailey, and Christian and Nick Wayne. Donnie.
Wasn't this initially just 2-on-2?
Yes, a tag team match. Then they made Christian gets involved like he usually does and makes it like a 3-way.
Okay. So, this being said, my thought here is Christian Cage and Nick Wayne have been added so that Kevin Knight and Speedball don't eat a pin. I think that's why they've been added. There's no chance you take the titles off the Hurt Syndicate right now. They are one of the best things on that entire program. And I don't see a universe where Jet Speed is the team to defeat them. I understand that they're popular. I understand that the fans like them. Kevin Knight has a big following, internationally, and Speedball. A lot of people are a big fan of his work. To me, it doesn't make any sense. I could very easily see Nick Wayne being the guy that's down and the champions retaining.
Jimmy?
You're thinking with logic, my friend. So that's why I agree with the fact that I think they've been added to the match so someone could eat a pin.
Oh, so you're saying,
but I
so
kind of feel that Jet Speed are going to be the ones to pin likely Nick Wayne.
Yeah. Okay.
To get the titles off Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, which I disagree with. I don't want to see that happen because these guys look so dominant. I'm sorry, but these guys, you know, it boggles my mind that a lot of times in AEW, big guys are almost punished for being too big because they like to push the smaller guys. I'm sorry. That's just the way it appears. And sometimes perception is reality. And as much as everybody, Speedball and Kevin Knight, exciting duo. They could do a whole bunch of stuff, but that fits right in the wheelhouse of what the person in charge and the sickos like. So I can see that happening.
You're right. I'm thinking logically.
He's taking all the time.
I need to think like AEW. I don't need to think logically. And you're right. I think that, the new team of Jet Speed, they're the fancy, shiny new toy.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they get a turn with the belts. And how about this? Here's me doing Tony Khan's job for him. If MJF wins that casino gimmick, maybe the rest of the Hurt Syndicate starts getting cheesed with him because now he's acting like the Hurt Syndicate is all about him in his quest to win the title because they lost their tag belts. So now their number one goal should be on being his backup.
Yeah. And if you think about it, lately, since he's joined the Hurt Syndicate, who's been the major voice in the Hurt Syndicate? It's always been MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And now MJF is the one who's been more vocal than him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, should be interesting to see.
That can't last.
Next bout, pretty much. Hopefully, it's a show stealer. Okada, Continental Champion, coming in. Kenny Omega, International Champion, and then they're going to unify the titles. Donnie, who's your pick?
I don't know, but let me say this. Take a shot of tequila in this match for every time you see a good punch. I promise you'll be sober. As much as everyone wants to talk about this being a tremendous 17-star match, neither one of these guys can throw a good punch. I'm just being an honest guy when I say this, okay? I get it. That's not what they do. They do different stuff. I feel like in order for them to surpass any past incarnation of Okada versus Omega is going to be very, very different and very difficult, I should say. Omega, by his own admission, is not the worker that he used to be, which I actually think is a good thing because he's relying now more on slowing down and trying to sell and not just doing everything under the sun. I think it's making him a better worker. But, this will probably be the de facto 47-star match that Dave Meltzer finishes to. And I think that it'll be, the sickos' wet dreams come true.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Omega probably wins this one. I don't think Okada has he eaten a single pin since he came to AEW?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
So, if you're going to finally have him do it, it's probably Omega, who's one of the other Golden Circle most protected guys in the entire company. Right? So I think that's the way it probably goes. What this new title is or represents or looks like, the talk that they're going to treat it like a second world title, I think that's a lot of nonsense and hooey. But, we'll see. But if I had to, gun to head, I would say Omega wins.
Okay, Jimmy?
Well, if I'm trying to make sense of things, then Omega does win because of the way they set this up with Okada taking him out and the elbow on the midsection, the surgically repaired midsection of Omega,
Right.
and then him spitting up whatever the hell that was. Yeah, this match fits right in the wheelhouse of their audience, their fan base, their diehards.
Yeah.
Will it live up to their past matches? I know they're going to try and pull out all the stops to do their best to, but like Donnie said, Omega has slowed down, so that will help them in the sense that they will be telling more of a story as opposed to trying to pull out. My only concern here is, and because of the last match, which we'll talk about later, I don't want to see any outside influences here as far as weaponry and that sort of thing, because obviously this match is based in their feud and their rivalry in Japan. And over there, it's more acceptable to use that kind of stuff, like putting people through tables and that sort of thing in a match, and that being allowed. And I don't want to see any kind of that stuff before the main event, if that makes any sense. And I'm worried that they're going to try and do kind of that kind of stuff in this match. But yeah, there'll be a new rating system. 12 stars will come out of it, and everybody will be happy.
You know what's interesting when I look at this match and I look at the card as a whole? AEW, they love to provide fan service in the sense of these dream matches above and beyond great storytelling, right? The dream match is such a pillar for that company. But if you look through this entire card, which is their biggest show of the year, this, and I guess maybe Tony versus Mercedes, I think those are the only dream matches that you can really point to. And when this is your biggest show of the year and you have as much talent on your roster as you do, I don't know, this kind of feels like it's not the way I would have built it, is what I'm saying. You know? Like, where the hell is Edge? Where's Adam Copeland? Why isn't he here?
He will be.
You think he's involved in this show?
He will be, in my opinion. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah. And Bryan Danielson we'll get to also. But
Yes.
you talked about Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné. If Mercedes Moné wins the belt, what does she have, Jimmy? 7 belts?
Yes, I think that's the count. I've lost count.
Is she going to defend anyone out of the? She doesn't even defend the TBS belt.
But here's the thing, Joe. This whole thing, has Mercedes Moné eaten a pin since she's been in AEW?
No.
Nope.
So logic would dictate that by Toni Storm defeating her and being the first one to defeat Mercedes Moné, that launches her to the next step in her career, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which tells me that ain't happening.
It's too logical.
That there's this fascination with this undefeated streak and collecting all the titles that she collects. If she's to win this title as well, their world championship, you have all these titles. How do you defend them individually all at once? I mean, like it's too convoluted a story to tell.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the logical choice would be Toni Storm retaining her championship in this match, and Mercedes Moné losing for the first time ever in AEW.
That's the logical choice, but do you think that's what's going to happen?
I'm not convinced. I'm not putting money on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't even put a nickel on it. Let's put it that way.
I like my nickels.
Yes.
Let's talk about the main event, Texas Death Match, and you could see. I know what Jimmy's going to say. A lot of run-ins. Put it this way: we got to get Samoa Joe on here. We got to, you mentioned Edge. I mentioned Bryan Danielson and all that. Jimmy, start us off. Hangman Page and Jon Moxley, of course. Are we ever going to see the belt? That's the big thing, because it's been in that briefcase and all that for what, a year? Are we going to see the belt?
Hopefully, I guess. But I got a funny feeling here that they're going to, as I told Donnie a long time ago when this first match was first announced, but now that they've added the Texas Death Match stipulation to it, I am very concerned that they're going to try and recreate the WrestleMania 40 scenario where Cody defeated Roman Reigns in that, what was it? The Bloodlines Rules match, where we have some surprise appearances, some superstars coming out to help even the odds. What they did there, though, at WrestleMania 40 was they had the superstars returning, like John Cena, like Undertaker, come out and take out the other players that were involved. I don't think that's going to happen here. I think there's going to be so much of a cluster furnum that happens that they're going to bring out everybody from Edge, Bryan Danielson, which they screwed up already by having him appear after the show in Mexico, doing a little bit of a physicality run in there. And they also did it again after another show. I believe it was a Collision or something. Why would you even show his face in front of an audience if you're going to have him interfere and be one of the guys that are going to help even the odds against the Death Riders? Sorry, I can't help myself sometimes. I mean, it makes absolutely zero sense because, that audience is aware that yes, it wasn't on TV, so it doesn't matter. It does matter because it's all over the internet.
100%.
And that's a company who works for the internet.
That's the problem. If you're in business, you're in the television business. Wrestling is a television business. Yes, it's moved to streaming, but streaming happens where? On your television set more than anywhere else.
Of course.
Netflix is on your television set. HBO Max is on your television set. Yes, you can see it on your computer, but that's not anyway. I'm just ranting. Oh yes, okay. I'm screaming at the clouds, guys. It's sunny over here now. Get off my lawn and all that stuff.
So hold on, Jimmy. Are you saying there's going to be a new AEW champion?
You know what? I'm not totally convinced. Believe it or not, I'm not totally convinced here.
So after 25 guys run in, he's still going to hold the belt?
Because, well, here's the thing: is Hangman the guy? Do they see Hangman as the guy? Hangman is I like Hangman's character. I like where he's going with this thing, but is he the guy?
Well, that brings up the question: who is the guy in AEW?
That is a good question.
I know, I came up with it.
Yeah, and it's a good one. I mean, like for a while there, it looked like Darby Allin was the guy they were going to point the finger at and say, "You're," who we'll probably see in the run-in as well, carrying a flag from the top of Mount Olympus there or wherever he went. But he was the guy that I thought they had the finger on. They're saying, "Okay, you're going to be our guy," and he said, "Well, can we wait a couple of months? I'm going to go climb Mount." Yeah, go on, take all the time you need. I don't. This is all. I don't know. You know what? I could almost see another scenario where Hangman does win. They get that briefcase. He opens it up and it's empty.
That's hilarious. They put a foam belt in there, from the merch table.
Yeah. The last question I'll ask Jimmy, and then I'll go to Donnie. Is Sting going to come out also?
Again, there's another name, and that is going to be the oversaturation of run-ins at the end of this thing that I'm worried about that will take away from the match itself.
After 5 hours, you're going to give me in the main event 20 run-ins? Come on. Donnie, go ahead.
Here's the thing. Everyone likes to talk about the WrestleMania 40 run-in party that happened at the end. One of the reasons, though, that run-in series was effective is because nobody really touched the competitors. They all went after the other people running in. Okay? So why do I say that's so important? When you have a challenger, especially a babyface challenger that you want to put over, if the heel champion gets bumped by 20 other guys that are more over than your challenger, you've completely reduced the value of your babyface challenger winning the title, because he couldn't have won it without all of the physical interference. Now, if all of those guys running in are there to like chase Claudio Castagnoli away, if they're there to, fight Maria Shafir, if they're there to, deal with Wheeler Yuta, okay, fine. That's fine. But keep it restricted to that. But for some reason, I just don't think that's what's going to happen. I think what you're going to see is Jon Moxley taking a finish from every guy that comes in. I think you're going to see Adam Page get bounced around by, the other members of the Death Riders. I don't think this is going to be well executed. And if they don't make the title change, it is really, really stupid. It's really stupid because the audience has been begging for this title change for 6 months. It's like fans watching baseball. Anybody but the Yankees. Right? That's what this is right now. It's anybody but Moxley. That's the way the sickos are responding to this whole angle. So I get it. Adam Page may not be your ideal number one guy, but he's the guy that you've positioned at your top show of the year. So give him the damn belt.
Okay, so a final question here. He wins the belt. Who is he in line at the next pay-per-view to face? Because you got Swerve Strickland and Ospreay, they're sort of. Then you got Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page there. Who knows? Like you said, I think Adam Copeland, and this is for Jimmy. I want to close it off. And All Out is happening in Toronto in September, so I could see Adam Copeland coming out then.
That's an interesting one, but again, the winner of the Casino Gauntlet match is the number one contender. So maybe it is MJF. MJF and him have a history. Yeah, they're good both back and forth on the mic. Would be interesting for sure because they could both handle the mic very well. I think that makes right now the most sense as far as Adam Copeland. If he's ready to return, who knows? There's a lot of talk of them maybe him and Christian Cage having a reunification. Yeah, thank you. A reunification when they come to Toronto for All Out. Mm-hmm. So that would be very interesting if that happens. Just a matter of how you get there.
Yeah, and that's the part that I'm very concerned about because there haven't even been breadcrumbs, right? And people are just insisting on this concept that they're going to be reformed at All Out. Edge and Christian, Adam Copeland and Christian back together. Like, what are they going to do? Just like cut a promo in the ring and be like, "Hey, who wants to buy a plank board?" Well, we have this business. Oh yeah, we're not really hating each other. This is my best friend. And like, how the hell do you get there after what they've done against each other on AEW television? The only way I can see it happening is for Christian to get betrayed by the rest of his family. Mm-hmm. And it's like a multi-person beatdown. And the guy who saves him is his former BFF.
Right.
But they got to do it soon, man. Like immediately after All In.
Right.
Do you think they have a plan like that already immediately after All In? So
I don't even think they've thought about it.
7 years into AEW, and have they improved, Jimmy?
In some aspects, they have. There are times where they slow down their pacing of their show, but then recently, I've noticed once they get close to the pay-per-views. Again, they start to try and cram 20 pounds of potatoes in a 10-pound bag every Wednesday night and on Collision as well.
Yeah.
Trying to get as much in as they can instead of focusing on telling those stories, taking their time and letting things breathe. Because if we go back to this past Wednesday, what did they do? They opened with that Mercedes Moné and Tony Storm segment, which, dare I say, didn't go so well. By the way, Mercedes, the pay-per-view's on Saturday, not Sunday. And then they went immediately from that to a John Moxley promo from backstage, a video promo. Then from that, they immediately went to the first match in the ring. So nothing had a chance to breathe. Nothing had a chance for the audience to say, oh, look what I just saw. They just have a problem with pacing. Has their quality gotten better? At times it has, but then they suffer from audio issues and sometimes little glitches like that. And I get it. They've only been around in a lot of people's mind, for 6, almost 7 years now. But that's more than enough time to fix those technical problems that they've been having.
All right,
and also to figure out how to pace their show better.
I got good news for Donnie. Donnie, we're about 2 minutes away from finishing our shows. All right, Donnie. So you tell everybody how they could listen to Huge Pop Radio. Who do you have on, and promote Super Kick? And because I got to be motivated to, after watching like 24 hours of wrestling, to come down July 25th.
Yeah, July 25th, the next Super Kick show. The last one was tremendous. Jimmy Corderas actually ended up doing a run-in the main event. And you just never know what's going to happen at a Super Kick show. But the next show coming up, July 25th, matches not yet announced, but stay on top of it by going to superkicked.ca or find them on social media. Look up Superkicked. That's Superkick_B, no E at the end. So yeah, lots of good stuff that's going to be coming out there. The shows are always a blast. We also have the free outdoor shows every Wednesday on the patio at Rendezvous at Richmond and Duncan. That's a great night of just chilling out, watching wrestling, eating really good food, drinking beer. You got a nice view of the CN Tower. It's a lot of fun there. Aside from that, Huge Pop Radio, absolutely outstanding each and every week in terms of the conversations that we have and great interviews. This week we have Al Snow on the show, and next week we will be doing a preview of TNA Slammiversary, and our guest will be former WWE star Dolph Ziggler, who is now TNA star Nick Nemeth. And of course, he's part of that big multi-tag team ladder match to defend his tag team title with his brother Ryan. It'll be a lot of fun.
All right, Jimmy, tell everybody how they could get you on social media.
Yeah, I'm all over social media, on Twitter at Jimmy Corderas, on Instagram at Real Jimmy Corderas. I'm on Facebook. You catch me there doing my ref and rants from Monday to Friday, just tightening screws, as a good old two-time Hall of Famer Bubba Ray Dudley, or Bully Ray, whichever you want to refer to him, always says. And you can agree with me, you can disagree, and if you disagree, you're probably wrong, but that's okay. And of course, reffing it up with my buddies, my fellow brothers in stripes, Brian Hebner and Daniel Spencer. Every week, this past week, we had a chance to chat with none other than Carlito, which was actually what, Joe?
Cool.
Yes,
That's
it was.
Cool. And you know what? Me and Jimmy must have some screw loose, because we got 20 hours on Saturday night. Donnie is probably taking a nice cold bath, put it that way. All right. So
I will not be watching All In live. I promise you. I will watch it the next day.
Even if it calls and it says, you got to check this run in and that run in, and come on.
Jimmy knows me better than that. He will not do that.
Yeah, he's going to mute me, bro.
And it's not because I don't want spoilers. It's because he knows I will not be watching 77 hours in a row of wrestling. That's just not going to happen. I'm not like Nick Nemeth, who never watches wrestling, but I don't need to watch that much.
Right.
Like, I will watch it, but I will watch it on my own schedule.
Everybody enjoy All In from Tex Hope. Let's hope it's a good 20-hour show. All right. Thanks a lot, Jimmy and Donnie.
All right.
Take care, buddy.
All right. Thanks, guys.